Hello, everybody, and welcome to F1 Chat here on Technically Analytics. Today, we're going to be talking about the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we're going to start right off with Sauber F1 kick them out of F1 because they suck. Zhao P19, Bottas P16. Sauber showed some promise early, but fell back late in the race. I mean, they were in the points at one point. Like, Bottas was in, 10th, I think. And Zhao was never really in it. But, yeah, they're terrible. Don't need to talk about them. Moving on, Williams, P14 for Albon, P17 for Sargent. Williams had a disappointing race. They couldn't get the strategy or pace right. Even in the middle of the race, Albon's engineer came on the radio and told him, "Oh, we're going to plan B." And he's like, "My tires are already dead. Why did you tell me this now?" And he was very unhappy about it. So clearly, they botched their whole strategy, and they were going to go long. They were going to trying to go long or something, and then it was already too late. I don't know. The Williams has not looked good this season. They were showing promise last year, but this season they looked terrible. And moving on, we have Alpine, Ocon P18, Gasly did not finish. I don't know why I put did not start. But anyway, Gasly did not finish. Alpine with another stinker. Ocon had no pace. He was at no point anywhere close to the points, really. And Gasly had a hydraulic problem. He was forced to retire. I don't think he ever made his second pit stop, actually, or his first pit stop. I think he retired before his first pit stop. He was going long. So bad race for Alpine, not surprising. They've been better in recent races, but now they've kind of fallen back to being bad again. And we have Haas, P15 for K-Mag, who is leaving Haas next season, and we have P13 for Hulk. Haas tried to pit early and go long, but the strategy didn't pay off. The pace wasn't particularly good. Hulkenberg looked good early on in the race, but then he kind of just fell off at the end. So yeah, not a very good race for Haas. No crazy moves. Kind of just, yeah. And then we move on to VCAR, which was Ricciardo P12, Tsunoda P9, 2 points. Ricciardo with another flop, while Tsunoda finds the pace again, scores points again. Good form for Tsunoda again. He's kind of found it again after having a few bad races. And Ricciardo still the same. Nothing changed there. He's kind of just been flat. So moving on, we're going to Aston Martin. Alonso P11, Stroll P10, 1 point. Alonso couldn't seem to find the pace. Stroll 6 with it, finishes in the points. Aston Martin just seem to be stuck behind the good teams. They can't seem to get past Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull. They're just kind of there in fifth, just kind of floating around. I don't know. They seem like they get qualified decently, and then they just fall back into the same, positions kind of that, wherever the good teams are, they'll fall back behind those good teams. So kind of the leader of F1B, you might say. And then we have Mercedes, Hamilton P3, 15 points, Russell P8, 5 points, fastest lap. Russell struggled in qualifying, but he managed to get into the points, also had the fastest lap. Good race by him, good comeback drive. Hamilton with another podium. Great run for Mercedes. Great run of form for Mercedes, who seems to have figured out their car finally, and that's really good. They've been doing a good job. Hamilton with his 200th podium of his career, and on to McLaren. Piastri P1, 25 points. Norris P2, 18 points. McLaren 1-2. Piastri had a great race. He was able to get by Norris and Verstappen on lap 1. Team strategy calls were good until they pitted Norris before him, causing the team to switch them back because it put Norris ahead of Piastri on the strategy call. It was the first victory of his career in just 35 races. And as for Norris, he had a good race too, was gifted a professional strategy after 10 or 12 laps. He gave back the position on lap 69, nice, to his teammate Piastri. A McLaren 1-2 was a great result, even though I would have preferred Norris to win for the championship reasons, because Norris is in second behind Verstappen, and, he would have needed those 6 points. And then basically it's a swing of 4 points, essentially, that Norris lost out on, because Verstappen scored 10, Norris scored 18, so he could have been 4 points, been 6 points closer, essentially. If he had 4 more points, he would have only, So anyway, yeah, but I agree that they should have switched back, because they did basically steal Piastri's win from him if he didn't. So, I mean, not a great call by McLaren, but both drivers drove great, and I'm very happy that McLaren has a 1-2 for the first time at this track since 1999. So, it's a really good win. And then we go on to Ferrari. Sainz P6, 8 points. Leclerc P4, 12 points. Sainz had a quiet, good race. He looked like the better Ferrari than his teammate, but he found the pace later on. Leclerc found the pace later on. And speaking of Leclerc, he finally got the team to give him a good strategy, and he drove well despite having a rough qualifying. A good double points finish for Ferrari. They finally get much needed point, like a double points finish. They've been struggling the past few since the Monaco win. They've been struggling like badly. So this was a good race for them, and they're gonna look to continue that because they're kind of falling behind now with McLaren being so good and Red Bull still obviously, well, at least for Verstappen still being good, and Mercedes is now in the fight. So yeah, they're gonna need to find more races like these and even get better results in this. So on to Red Bull. Perez, P7, 6 points. Verstappen, P5, 10 points. Verstappen just didn't have the pace to match the McLarens. He seemed to struggle on the tires as well. His late dive bomb on Hamilton really cost him any chance of a podium. That was crazy. I don't know how he stayed in the race. Like, his car went way up in the air, slammed down on the ground on the back end of it, and he managed to stay in, and neither car took damage, which was crazy. I don't know how that worked. And then we have Perez. He must really dread racing in Europe because he crashed in qualifying again. And then he did well to get back in the points. Actually, not far from his teammate. Red Bull looking more beatable in every race. So, yeah, it's going to be a great championship race from here on out. I expect McLaren to be in it. Mercedes and Ferrari. So, tune in next time. Tune in next time for the race in Spa, and we'll see what happens in that race. This was a pretty boring race for the most part, except for the McLaren drama, and the Verstappen Hamilton fight. But yeah, F1's getting really interesting, and summer break is soon. So next race will be the last one before summer break. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's go McLaren.